It has been more than 2 weeks since the federal government allocated 20 trucks of rice to each of the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory for distribution to Nigerians. The 740 trucks of rice were meant to cushion the effects of soaring food inflation and general cost of living across the country. But it appears some Nigerians know little or almost nothing on the whereabouts of the 20 trucks of rice allocated to their respective states. And this has been corroborated by a latest statement from the chairman of the Northern State Governors Forum and Governor of Gombe State, Muhammadu Inuwa Yahaya. Governor Inuwa also said Gombe will not be able to pay the sum of 70,000 naira new minimum wage approved by the President Tinubu administration. And in neighboring Adamawa, the Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Honorable Iliya James, says the state government is yet to receive the 20 trucks of rice promised by the federal government. And elsewhere, Senate President Godswill Akpabio is under pressure following an expensive joke he made on the planned protest. He said, and I quote, those who want to protest can protest, but let us be there eating, end of quote. Akpabio made this disclosure on Tuesday while addressing delegates of the Niger Delta Development Commission in Rivers State. Have a look at how the drama unfolded.
We are not interested in regime change. Let us own this government. Those who want to protest can protest, but let us be there eating. Am I right? I must thank Niger Delta.
While these comments stirred anger among Nigerians, the federal government has not relented in its efforts to halt the End Bad Governance protest scheduled to hold in less than 24 hours. And on Daily Politics tonight, we take a look at the current situation in the country. I'm Hamza Idris. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Here in the studio, we have Dr. Suleiman Abdullahi, a public affairs analyst, consultant on leadership and strategies. And we also have Engineer Nuruddeen Aliyu, a chieftain of the All Progressive Congress, APC. Gentlemen, thank you very much for making it to the studio.
Thank you very much for having us.
Now, to set the ball rolling, here are some tidbits. The federal government has explained why it is bothered about the planned nationwide protest bill to commence on August 1, which is tomorrow. Speaking Wednesday in Abuja during a ministerial press briefing, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, said the federal government and President Bola Tinubu have repeatedly asked youths to have a rethink because of the dangers associated with the protest.
Present at the World Press Conference were the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, Minister of Information, Mohammed Idris Malagi, his finance counterpart, Wale Edun, that of Solid Minerals, Dilalake, as well as the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Abubakar Bagudu, among other government officials. They all highlighted some of the steps the government is taking to make life comfortable for Nigerian citizens for the citizens, saying some of the policies require more to positively impact the lives of the average Nigerian.
Happy to Nigerians of whatever persuasion, belief, demography, gender and status to shun cause for protests against hunger by prioritizing peace and progress.
The CNG initiative, in the first instance, recall the 1st October speech of Mr. President, 1st October 2023, where he made an initial pledge and provision of 100 billion naira in the first instance for this CNG initiative. The world over, there is this transition from fossil fuel to cleaner energy that is moving and sweeping across the world. And Nigeria cannot be an exception.
On the one hand, we have come from a situation where the nation was living on debt. Every time there was a bill to be paid, it was not paid from revenue, it was not paid from investment funding, but it had to be paid from debt, particularly from the central bank, and of course, that was not sustainable. That is no longer the case.
President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu believes that sentiment will not solve this problem, blame game will not solve this problem, But as other countries have done, innovation and imagination and proper appreciation that decades of underinvestment brought us to where we are can catalyze us and galvanize us and enable us to form a consensus.
What we need as a nation is to allow these economic reforms and various interventions to mature through the gestation period into reality. And Nigeria will never be the same again. Nigeria will never regress again. Nigeria will be put on a solid economic platform for this and future generations.
With these submissions, the government delegation is hoping that angry Nigerians, mostly youths, will shove the planned protest and give the government more time to assuage the plight of impoverished Nigerians. However, the protests barely hours away, and with no official statement halting them, this World Press Conference may just have been an exercise in futility, as promoters may have already braced up, no matter the odds, to make a bold statement that there is indeed unprecedented hunger in the land, due primarily to the government's economic policies.
And elsewhere, the Senate on Wednesday passed a bill to increase the percentage of ways and means loans the Central Bank of Nigeria can give the federal government. The upper chamber of the Nigerian legislature raised the credit facility obtainable by the federal government from the Apex Bank from 5% to 10%. Known as the Ways and Means, the Apex Bank offers short-term financing to the federal government to cover its budget shortfalls. To do this, the Senate amended the CBN Act to increase the total CBN advances, in other words, loans, to the federal government. And we'll now take a short break, and when we return, the conversation commences. Don't go away. Welcome back. Yes, Dr. Suleiman, Engineer Nuruddeen, once again, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
We will start with, I think, the second to the last tidbit, because all the others have to do with the main topic of today. I'm referring to the ways and means. You know, when, let me start with you, yes, Doctor. 2 days ago, when an announcement was made that the National Assembly would reconvene, many Nigerians thought that they will come and discuss this issue of protest, but they brought the issue of ways and means, which in a way is to actually give the CBN the leeway to print money, most likely, for the government to up its game as far as budget implementation is concerned. Are you happy they did this?
Thank you very much. You see, most of the policy we have been experiencing in this administration have not been yielding expected results. And if you look at it, printing of money is an indicator that, look, a nation is not in its right position as far as economic is concerned. And this will tell you that, look, they have failed in addressing the dear needs of the people. Because number one, there is hunger in the country. Number two, we are talking of what minimum wages, an increment in the minimum wage, you understand now? Number three, we are looking at our external reserve and looking at most companies are folding and going back to their, they're relocating from Nigeria. Then what are we thinking? Even the local companies are thinking of, look, are regretting it. Let's look at it. If you are thinking of printing money, does that cushion the effect or economic effect that is really touching and putting some hardship on the Nigerians? No, that's not the economic policy that we are talking about. Look at what are the immediate effect to handle the issue of hunger in the land. You have taken away what gives happiness, joy to the Nigerians. Common man,
subsidy,
which is
right?
Subsidy. Then what is the alternative to it? What do you bring to the table that will add to the value of their life? Styles. If there is nothing, it's like, look, you have closed the window whereby there's a breeze coming in to give a cross ventilation. Now everybody's suffocating.
So invariably, if I understand, you are not satisfied with this. Nuruddeen is a chieftain of the FEC. Yes, I want you to come in here. Were you surprised they didn't discuss the issue of protest? Okay.
I am not, because the issue of good governance has always been a case in Nigeria.
Okay.
And I get disappointed when an average Nigerian complains about what is happening in the current administration, and easily somebody will say we did not start it. It was started by the Buhari administration. The fact that the previous government printed money to cushion the effect of whatever they claim, as it were, that at the time, is not an excuse. Besides, you look at what is happening. Inflation at what rate we are talking about today? Some analysts say over, not 30, Mr. Hamza, 38. Some are saying 40 points.
Yeah, especially the food inflation.
Yes, the food inflation, and some measures that were taken by the previous government to mop up money, excess money in circulation by the Buhari administration. What you are doing now, are you indirectly reversing and putting more money in circulation? And what does that stand to, how does it benefit Nigerians? Is it more money in circulation that reduces our problem? Instead, what we want to be seeing this government doing is, whenever you have a policy, try and implement your policy in a manner that it will affect the least Nigerians, so that we know, because when we did not vote you to continue, let's even put it that the Buhari administration punished Nigerians for 8 years. You said you come to Nigeria to fix the problem. You said we should not sympathize with you. You came and took a revolutionary step on the first day, removing the subsidy. So many of us who wanted to see that happen applauded you, Mr. President. And so many things kept somersaulting. Today, Mr. Hamza, things have gone so bad in the country that even the Senate in the upper chamber and put everybody on board. We are all suffering. Many Nigerians will be shocked because you are a chieftain of the APC. I am. It doesn't stop. But you are a Nigerian. I am a Nigerian. Are you still in APC? I am. Now, okay, let me ask this follow-up question. As you put it, maybe the Senate, they have forgotten that they set up a committee, I think in March, headed by Senator Abdullahi, to probe the 30 trillion naira ways and means of the Buhari era. Is it that they forget so easily? Now they have even upped the game by increasing the percentage upon which the CBN, as a matter of fact, I don't blame them. I blame us Nigerians who voted them to those seats. Because if only a member of the Senate or Reps knows that when he comes back to his constituency or his senatorial district, there will be consequences from his people because he went and represented them in a manner that was not favorable. I'm sure they would have think otherwise. But whenever there is an issue, they take a decision on their own. I have not seen, and that is why I complain so much about this government. It's not as if we are taking a different stand, from where the APC is. It's because we feel pain, because this is our government, and we promise Nigerians change. We promise to make life better. And if the Senate are going to do anything, till today, Mr. Hamza, this democracy, we borrowed it. Averagely, anywhere democracy is going on, for every single policy of this nature to be taken and implemented, these people have to go back to their people, discuss it in a town hall, agree. You hear from people you are representing. This is how strategic this is, and this is how it will affect the common man in the society. How do we go about it? But there is nothing like that because we abuse democracy. There is nothing like that because there is no consequences. So for me, it's not about APC, it's not about my party, it's about governance. And it's not going well. And it's not going well. All right, Dr. Suleiman, now, I think we will seamlessly key into the subject of discussion today. That is FGE last-minute rush to halt the protest. Did you have a feeling of some pain when you saw the video of Senate President Akpabio saying protesters can go and protest, we will go and eat?
Before I attend to that question, yes, let me tell you, I think we should try to have some language control, decency in our language when it comes to leadership. And when you are speaking to people at the hem, when you are in the hem of affairs and you are talking to citizens like Nigerians. The other time I heard the same Mapabio sending apology to a colleague in the Senate chamber, Natasha, that he was referencing that, look, we are not in a nightclub. You understand now? Number two, and look at his statement. These utterances show that, look, the man he's not culturally, mannered when it comes to public utterances, because you should have what we call guided utterances as a leader. You understand now? Because we underline every statement from every leader of that caliber. It should be philosophical in his language and his thought and in his speech, because whatever you said today will go into record as, look, Nigerian Senate President have once said this, not based on his own individual ability, but as a Senate President. That is on this aspect. Let's go to the question proper now. Let me tell you, that tells you their insensitivity to what? To the condition of the Nigerian citizens. The president is there with a look. We are seeing some nonchalant attitude towards the pains, tears, and wealth of Nigeria who have voted you in. Number two, your policies are not meeting with the yearning and aspiration of the Nigerians that voted you there. Number three, look at what the Senate is supposed to check the executive. Look at what he is saying. Is he supporting the government, or he's talking on behalf of the people that voted them there?
Naturally, he will support the government.
The government,
yes.
But the government didn't put them there. It is the people that voted them there. Because in whatever step they are taking, the first thing they should look at, as far as indices is concerned, in the legislature, they should look at the people first, because it's a people-oriented government. Look, let me tell you, that is to tell you that, look, our attitudes towards democracy has not yet developed beyond the level of what? Of the 18th century or 17th century. And we are talking of what? The fifth industrial revolution stage.
Maybe I should play the devil's advocate, because we received call. I personally received call from one of his spokespersons saying that he didn't say that. I tried to figure it out. I had to go and view the video, and the words quoted by social and legacy.
Look, let me tell you, it is a disappointment to every Nigerian. It is a disgrace to that chamber. You understand now? It shows some level of disrespect to every Nigerian. And look at, let me tell you one thing that we are not taking into consideration. In every statement we are doing, in the way we practice our democracy, we have all the advanced countries take it into what? Indices that look what they use in rating the developed and underdeveloped countries. You look at, they rate you on every aspect of it. Your election, the protest that is coming today, they look at it, they monitor election, they monitor all your democratic process. So at the end of the day, they rate you, and look, these people cannot be rated as what? As developing countries. They are still underdeveloped. That is why today, no any of this black nation you see that was given the chance to be in the world among the ruling countries in the United Nations Security Council. Right. You are yearning for it.
Okay.
We get it.
Nuruddeen, I can see you're nodding your head. Is it in agreement, or maybe you have contrary view? Maybe is it that Nigerians did not understand what Akpabio wanted to say?
Morally, every decent Nigerian knows that the Senate President has been, this is not the first time, he has been constantly reckless on the flow, and he did it with the FCT minister and Senator Ireti Kingibe. He is now he did it with a lot of people, and you don't put a joke in matters of legislation. You, for God's sake, you are the number 3rd citizen, and if you can make mockery of your seat as the number 3rd citizen, what do you expect from an average Nigerian who is not even aware of what legislation is?
All right, maybe they should start moderating.
Yes, and this goes a long way in defining us as a people and us as a country. And he should not be seen to be doing things like this. And that is why, if you see what is happening in the National Assembly, it has not been a matter for Nigerians. It has always been what is there for us. And that is why when Senator Ningi came out and said something about the budget, he was suspended. And even when Senator Ali Indume criticized his own party. He was open as a stakeholder he is in the party. As he made it open to Nigerians that he was among the 22 senators that agreed in the formation of APC when he was ordered by the former president to join the party. And he did it in respect and regard for those elder statesmen. He joined the party. You can imagine the role he played in making the president of Nigeria, and even the Senate president.
Yeah,
making him,
he led the campaign.
He was the DG of that campaign. But simply because he criticized his own government, his own party, of the president is no longer accessible.
Are you not scared that maybe they will also suspend you as
It's not a problem.
APC?
My suspension, am I not suspended? Is there any Nigerian now today that is no suspension?
You are already suspended.
Virtually every Nigerian is on suspension. After all, what is good in the party if there is no service deliverance to the people? I should not be proud of my party when things are going wrong in this manner and still hold on, because parties are supposed to be with ideas, ideologies, because we are supposed to make it institutions. We are supposed to be checking the excesses of what the president is doing. But today, what are we doing in the party? You can imagine even the national chairman, I saw it on the news, that the APC as our party is planning to hold on a support rally for the president in the 774 local government. How dare you do that in this current situation we are? Support for what?
It's a wrong decision.
It absolutely is wrong, Mr. Hamza, because support for what? Is it the support that energy is no longer available and affordable? Is it support that food is no longer available and affordable? Or support that I cannot go to my bed and sleep thinking I will wake up the next morning peacefully? What support? What are we supporting for? Instead, we should check, because it's supposed to be in our manifesto as a party that this is what we promise Nigerians, and we have our KPIs. In this quarter, we expect to see changes in our security apparatus. This is what we expect to see. The level of banditry in the northwest will reduce to this. The level of Boko Haram in the northeast will reduce to this. The attack and so in the southeast will reduce. All these things. And then in the food industry, we want to see that rise. The average grain that every Nigerian buys by the year 2024, we want to see that an average Nigerian can put food at the table with 30,000 naira, with 40,000 naira. And that is why people are talking about living wage. But you can see, because I told you, I said, Akpabio makes mockery of governance. If only, you can imagine, he said, we did not only double we added something on top. Can he be happy with his son or daughter to take 70,000 home as a...
Even though it's the minimum threshold.
Will he be happy because if you want to lead, you lead by example. So if he will accept 70,000 and he is happy with the government paying 70,000 as minimum wage, then I think his son or daughter should take 70,000 back home as their salary end of the month. And let me see if he will celebrate it.
All right, Dr. Suleiman, tomorrow is the D-Day and the clock is fast ticking. Yes, are you in support of those who want to go out for this protest, or you think something is fundamentally wrong somewhere?
Something is fundamentally wrong with the process, with the initiatives, and the way and manner they organize it.
How do you mean?
Tell you,
yes.
Procession like this supposed to have a common ideology. What is the value that we want to send to the people? What is their philosophical belief? Then let's look at it all together. What change do they want to bring? What historical change do they want to make? Then, if you look at it, what ideology that is bounding them together? Do they have common goal, common mission, common vision?
They said end bad governance.
End bad governance.
And then we have one of the subgroups.
Mr. Hamza, if you are talking of bad governance,
take it back,
are you taking of political bad governance, economic bad governance, educational bad governance, security bad governance? All these things are encompassed in bad governance. That's what, look, if you are taking of it, you must be specific and direct to it. let's look at revolution that take place across the world. Taking you back, even in Africa, in the 18th century, the issue of the Mau Mau revolution in Mali was about the trained workers that are asking for their freedom and their increase in their wages and the way they treat them. You understand? That is one. That is one. Number two, if you look at the revolution that took place in Russia, I think after the Second World War, that the women came and protested, look, they need their men back home for social, social right within the family setting. That's number one. If you look at Martin Luther Jr., his revolution was about the black Africa freedom and their political right. That is it. And if you look at what happened in Egypt about the Muslims, the one Muslims was on what? On a government that's supposed to think about the right of the women and give them the equal right to the Muslim right as a political party. But if you look at it, let me tell you,
is it that you don't believe
they have a common goal and a common setting? What is the common goal of the protest?
They said it yesterday, when they met with the IG.
And let me tell you,
who is how?
If you are talking of a procession like this, Femi Falana, in those days when you have Gani Fawemi and Taye Salarin, look at, they come out and even Wole Soyinka, you understand now, they have a procession and we tell you, we are against the military junta. We want what? Emancipation of democratic elected governance. That, let me tell you, and you have, in every point in time, they have their delegate across the 6 region. And let me tell you, what we are saying here is that, look, we said there are the people are sponsoring this protest. In the developed countries, nobody sponsor it, but you have one person that it's happening naturally, and somebody have the philosophical idea, and people key into it. It's not a day job, it's not a week job, it is not a year job. You see them, they have a dream and a vision, they drive, and everybody key into it. They tell you it's not about ethnicity, it's not about religion, it's not about sentiment, it's not about race, it's about what? About humanity.
All right, I want to bring engineer into this. We said time is ticking towards the wee hour. Where do we belong about this protest?
Mr. Hamza, I belong to the yes and no, and let me quickly explain to you.
Okay, fine.
Yes. The answers, as it were, there was destruction of individual property, looting of people's shops, a lot of businesses were shattered because, yes, they had a purpose ab initio, but it was hijacked. And all protests all over the world has always been like that.
Okay.
Now, this very one, there was a strong advocacy by so many people. Let the actors come forth so that the government will know who they are dealing with. I saw Honorable Jamiu Alawakala, his appearance on the news, and he said the first day of the NSAS he participated because he's the chairman House Committee on Youth. Mm-hmm. But the second day he realized it was faceless and he left because he doesn't want to be a part to destruction. Now, has this country taken enough to go into protest? Yes. No two ways about it. Protest in Nigeria is due, procession is due. However, if the government want to address it, communication is key. You cannot threaten a nation. A nation that the youth demography is about 60 to 70% or even 75. Mm. Give and take, if you put Nigeria at 200 million, just 200 million minimum, if you take 60% of it, we are talking about 120 million. You cannot threaten these people and go free. So the government should be seen to be addressing issues that matter, issues at hand that will solve this problem. So if I were in a position, that's why I say let me answer it. If I were in a position, I will allow the protest to take place.
Okay.
I will allow it to take place, Mr. Hamza, because this is a pressure you cannot continue to sustain. The more you deny it, you are only saving it for a wrong hour.
Because it will happen.
It will happen. And the day it will happen, you may not be prepared and nobody can contain it.
All right.
So it's easy to control it. We have the police in every local government in Nigeria. I have not seen a protest in Nigeria that every local government participated. Choose, and I'm sure even this one, mark my word, you see what will happen tomorrow. Even this one, maybe the major cities is where the protest will take place. Deploy just like the way we are seeing police in every corner in Abuja. And remember, I saw one of the leaders of the people fronting for this protest said, we did not mention violence. The word violence is coming from the government that is supposed to provide security for this thing to take place peacefully. So are you now procuring violence for the exercise? Because for us, we are coming out to participate that energy is expensive. Food is expensive. Life is completely frustrating in Nigeria. And we cannot allow you, with what is ongoing, you go and build a 20 billion naira house, a residential house for your VP. You have awarded a bogus project for Lagos Calabar Super Coastal Highway, as we call it. Today, everybody will tell you, if these monies were channeled through electricity that you promised Nigeria you will give in 4 years, if you don't deserve a second term. Perhaps, maybe between now and the 4 years, you would have provided enough electricity. And mind you, this is what everybody needs in Nigeria.
All right.
Electricity. It will give jobs and it will generate revenue that will sponsor the construction of this super coastal highway as it is seamlessly with effortless.
Right. Yes. Thank you very much, Engineer Nuruddeen. Thank you, Suleiman. I think we'll go on a short break so that we continue with the conversation on another front. Thank you. Viewers, don't go away. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. If you are just joining, you are watching Daily Politics on Trust TV. Do well to follow the conversation across our social platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and watch us live on YouTube. Yes, we have in the studio Dr. Suleiman Abdullahi, a public affairs analyst, consultant on leadership and strategies, and then an APC Chieftain, Engineer Nuruddeen Aliyu. Once again, welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
You have heard what he said, that protest is legitimate. I want to take the question this way, going by what Governor Inuaya, who is the chairman of Northern Governors, it's like he wasn't happy also. And then in Adamawa, you have a senior government official there also saying they didn't get the 20 trucks of rice. You didn't, quite a number of states. This one is APC, like Engineer Nuruddeen. The other one is opposition. Don't you think they are telling the government that, look, enough is enough? Where is the rice? Where is the palliative?
You see, any nation you see sharing palliative measures is a failed nation, it's a failed government. Because when you are talking of the Industrial Revolution in the 17th century, I take you back to history. It was not meant to share food. It was under a revolution that takes every sector of the human existence into consideration. Labor, economics, the market, everything. As we are producing, it's a chain value chain production. So everybody keys in, from the manufacturer to the market process to the end result of it, and who the consumer at the end. And you get the feedback as expected. So the cycle benefit of the whole thing cycle within the nation.
So you believe it's a wrong approach?
It's a wrong approach. Let me tell you, you see, the money you are using to share palliative measures to your citizens, why can't you invest it constructively to better the life of the people? You have 6 geopolitical zones. After removing the subsidy, why can't you build fertilizer plant in all the 6 geopolitical zones and make agriculture accessible to people and machineries for what? For industrial revolution, agriculturally, that your people benefit, and you have fertilizer to cushion in what? To soften the agricultural sector.
They said it's a remedial measure. And I think after series of complaints by Nigerians, last week they now said, okay, since you Nigerians believe the palliative is not trickling down, we are going to sell it at 50% discount. And that informed the decision to now sell a 50 kg bag of rice at 40.
Sell it at 30, 35 naira, 25,000 naira. What happened to beans? What happened to Gari? What happened to Apple? And what happened to other series? This is not what is.
They must start from somewhere.
Look. Let me tell you. Let's start from the core issues. What brought this issue to where we are? If the government is sensitive to what you are saying, what are your strategic measures in the first place after removing the subsidy? You understand now, to cushion the effect of what? Of economic hardship on the people.
Okay, I think I will ask Nuruddeen to come in here. It's like between the devil and the deep
blue sea.
Blue sea. Do you think the thinking faculty of the government maybe is hijacked, or where is the problem?
First of all, I differ a little about the palliative thing.
Okay.
First of all, looking at it as a short-term measure. In every situation, there is what government can do for its citizens in a short term, medium, and long term. And some of the policies, and that is why I said, whatever the government must have conceptualized in the beginning of this administration and taking it as a policy and implementing it today, there are certain things Nigerians need to be seeing as indicators that this is where we are heading to in the next 6 months, in the next 1 year. I am not against this palliative, but let me tell you what I'm against. Strongly against this. Governors, okay, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, sometimes I sympathize with him, even though he said we should not. He gave out palliatives, if you remember, ending of last year, which governors were given, the National Assembly, both the Senate and Reps were given, to go and cushion the effect of the hardship the country is experiencing. Now, I ask you, we have seen it on record, we have seen it on the TVs, and most section of this country were crying because how many of those people have shared these things as given to them. Now, if you will repeat, you keep doing something every day and getting the same result, and people call it insanity, and truly it is. So for me, I was thinking, as beautiful as it is to reduce the hardship on the people immediately, while we are preparing for a medium and long term, the government should have preferred a different means. What I mean here is, Mr. Hamza, every local government you go in Nigeria, there is a place we all know called Agric. Is usually under the under the local government, under the Ministry of Agric. Now, if you have this, which comes as a form of subsidy, let's assume you have given 27, 25 trucks of rice or grains or whatever it is to every state. This, you don't need to give it to the state. At least states too have their own revenue generation. They have their own federal allocation. The governors too should be seen complementing the effort of the federal government. If the federal government provide 27, okay, the state government, okay, I can also provide 20, making it 47. That means in a case of my own, my state has 21 local government. So if the federal government allocates 25, and let's say my state governor can afford 10 or 15, making it 40, on the average, it means every local government will get 2 trucks. That's like 1,200 bags. If these things can be taken to my local government and rebagged in 5, 10, 3 kgs, depending on affordability, people who can afford it have designated points where they can come on a subsidized rate.
Not free.
Not free. Instead of 2,000 naira, you can buy rice at 1,000.
So it can be like a revolving.
Yes, and this thing will naturally crash the prices of grains in the market, and people who are hoarding it, first of all, will not know how long this thing will continue. So automatically, whatever you keep in the store, you have to bring it because you also want to sell, thinking the government will sustain this policy. This is the aim of policy. But today, if it was given, even though governors have come out and denied, particularly if Governor Inuayaya would deny this, who again will come out and say he has collected it? Because he is the chairman
of the
19 state governors. So if he say he has not seen it, it means there is no communication between him and presidency or him and the president.
Is this a pointer that there is really a problem between the federal government and the state governments, going by what the chairman of the Northern Governors said? He also added that personally he cannot afford to pay the minimum wage of 70,000. Is it the right time to say this?
There was never a time whereby the government, the federal government and state government are in the same page. Because if you look at it, the federal government policy is quite different from the state government. Up to today, there are states that are agitating for resource control, and the federal government are against it. Up to today, there are states that are yearning for what? For state policy, and the federal government said no. So what we are saying today is that, look, what the federal government are doing is what? Is propelling corruption. You give more to some state corrupt governors, people that are not sensitive to the pains of their people, and they have no accountability for it. Who did the state government account to? Nobody. At the end of the day, they came to Abuja, collect.
But they said, even though the government has, at the center, declared that they have released this governor, maybe, you know, he had the courage to come out.
They have the courage to come out.
So where is the problem? Is it that the federal government is living in denial?
Let me tell you, simple question. That you are the leader of the northern government. What have you people formed, you understand now, as a body to confront the federal government with the problem confronting the north? What are your agenda for the APC government? What are your agenda to Mr. President? You understand now? Where did you have differences between you when it comes to policy as far as northern states are concerned? You don't have these issues to set aside for the government. Then what are they saying? These are policy from the federal government. Then if you said you are not comfortable with it, what have you brought to the table before now to the federal government? This is what we want. Let me tell you, it is the kettle calling the pot black. They are all at the same level.
Then who are at the receiving end?
Let me say, at the receiving end is the masses. Because, look, the governors are not being sincere with the state at the state level. And the federal government is not being sincere with us. Up to today, what the government we are running is a government of interest. What is the differences between, what is the issue between Dangote Refinery and the federal government?
This is actually another big issue, which maybe we will find time to discuss. But I want to bring Nuruddeen. The latest story we got is that one of the lawyers of the promoters of these protests, Ebun Olu Adeborua, he has appealed to the protesters to reduce the protest to 1 day or maximum of 3 days. He issued a statement this evening, and I want to quote a paragraph or two. He said, even our forefathers in their graveyards have heard your voices loud and clear. The way and manner in which the government has been running helter-skelter since the announcement of the protest shows the moral victory of your campaign and your struggles. What we have done in the past few days is to facilitate dialogue with the law enforcement and security agencies. The insistence by the Inspector General, blah, blah. He said this, that, okay, are you on the same page, that the protest should be 1 day? This is the latest, and as I said earlier,
latest,
a few hours.
Mr. Hamza, latest or not latest or whatever it is, my position about protest is simple.
Yes.
Communication is key. It moves the world. The president should stop listening to people that will be whispering to his ears and allowing Nigeria to go down the drain. Is this wrong?
But how much communication do you expect? Like today,
I'm coming.
Yes,
I'm coming. He needs to listen to people. Now, good as because he said something. He said he means well for the country.
Yes,
and we believe him. But they cannot just be rhetoric. We must see something. And if the youth says they are not comfortable with this thing, and if key people in your government tells you there is hunger in the land, hungry people are angry people, listen to them.
He has been listening. He said,
now
how do you mean?
Now what I want is, okay, Mr. Pro, you have injected so much money into agriculture. You have injected so much money into energy. You have injected so much money into industrialization, tourism. As a president, you have your lieutenants who are ministers, who also have their own lieutenants as MDs, DGs, and executive secretaries. These people should be giving you indices. Mr. President, communicate to us. We want to know how much time do you need for these policies. I saw one of his ministers in some of the clip you played.
Yes.
He said policies have their maturity period. And in between is a gestation period.
Yes.
It's vague, Mr. Hamza. When? Is there no time frame for this?
It's technical.
It's technical, so you need to. Because the only thing that relaxes people, you hope. Tell us, I have done this and this and this in agriculture, and the next 5 months, 6 months, expect food items to drop as low as... Do you know why people were not complaining when minimum wage was 18,000?
No.
Very good. Because when minimum wage was 18,000, a bag of rice was 6.5.
So you can afford a whole bag.
10 tubers of yam was 1,000 to 200 naira. A bottle or a cake of palm wine or groundnut oil is just 2,000 or 3,000. That means with your 18,000, you could buy all these things as a minimum wage and take it to your house. Yet you may not have anything at the end.
And it's not possible now.
Now, the minimum wage at that time, the 18,000 was more than $100. Now, it's 70,000. That's why I said they are making mockery of the masses. The 70,000 naira is $43. We have dollarized our economy. Mr. Hamza, is so shameful that people today in Nigeria wake up in the morning, both the educated, semi and non-educated. We have finally accepted dollar and use it to define everything in the economy. That you see an educated person shower in the morning, put on his suit, is looking for dollar to buy because he expected the next morning to rise and he will cash out.
So I will come back to you in a moment for just 30 seconds, but I want to have your take. Today, the SGF, Minister of Information, Minister of Finance, Minister of Solid Minerals, and Minister of Budget, they held an international press conference at the Radio House, appealing to Nigerians to share the planned protest. What is your message?
It's too late. Last minute approach. I don't like it.
Then where do you belong, Doctor? Because earlier you said you don't like the protest and...
Yes. You see, the why I said this is that, look, the government in the initial stage, when they heard about the issue of protest, called the Senate President, discussed, interface with them, go back to a constituency, tell them the government policy, what we are doing and what we are ready to do and what we have done, just like he said. Understand now? That is number one. Number two, have your master strategist on place. Call the ministers. You understand now? What do we do to address this issue within the shortest period of time? You understand now? The issue market is what? Is the removal of subsidy. Let me tell you, the first number one measure, if I'm Mr. President, whatever it will cost me, call down with it. Come. This crude oil is for Nigeria.
But he said that Dangote should buy it in Naira.
When? Why is it at the late hour when all the damages have been caused?
Okay, then how can they remedy? How can they remedy?
The remedy there now, look, we are giving subsidizing it for you. Sell at this amount to every Nigerian.
Okay,
it's our product.
Okay, this is a new
that is it.
Formula. Maybe the president, he can use this night or very early tomorrow.
Tell Mr. Dangote, we are giving you a refinery for 20 Naira. 200 naira, sell it 250 to Nigerians. Finish.
All right. Engineer, let me have your final take on this. How do you think the campaigners should go about the protest tomorrow? If they insist the protest should hold, yes, I am not against it, but I expect the security apparatus should provide adequate security and allow this thing to hold peacefully. That's number one. Okay. Number two, I expect the president, as a matter of urgency, tomorrow to do a conference, a media conference, address Nigerians directly because this is a matter of urgency, not by proxy. As it is said, unprecedented time requires unprecedented measures. He should come out and tell Nigerians, look, I'm not happy with what is happening in the country. I took the responsibility as the driver. This is a vehicle. I'm going to convey you people. I promise you good governance and give me so and so time. That's why I have written something small, Mr. Hamza. Even though we have run out of time, yes. I want, Mr. President, I have written, this is Mr. President. And I just asked him as a Nigerian, as an APC member, how much time do you need? Communicate to us as Nigerians. All right, engineer. Communicate to us and we'll give you, because we respect, we love, and we honor you, and we want a better Nigeria. Thank you very much. What are you going to do? Thank you very much, Engineer Nuruddeen Aliyu, Chieftain of the All Progressive Congress, on your take on the proposed project. We hope to have you again. And Dr. Suleiman Abdullahi, Public Affairs Analyst, Consultant on Leadership and Strategy. We thank you all for coming to the program.
Thank you very much.
And because that's a wrap on today's package, we hope you found the conversation engaging and informative. And be sure to join Daily Politics airing every weekday and our special package on Friday, during which we open the telephone line for you to comment on national issues. A word of caution for all of us in Nigeria. If you are going for the protest, please be a citizen of Nigeria. Don't take arms. Don't, violate the rules. Do it peacefully, and we hope security agencies will also do their bit in ensuring a peaceful demonstration. And we hope those that matter will take adequate measures. Thank you for now. Bye-bye. I'm Hamza Idris.